odd levels. Now we are into the retracement of that rally. So we are only seeing a retracement. This is not the start of a fresh leg of down move. It is only a retracement of the rally. And once we are close to this 23,500, we are expecting the next leg of up move to start. So yes, there is some amount of correction or consolidation that is likely during the next couple of weeks. But overall, we still believe that around 23,500, we are likely to witness the resumption of the next leg of the up move. So yes, from current levels, yes, there is a downside possible, but we are expecting it to hold around 23,500.
23,500 is the support that Jatin is observing on the charts right now in terms of the downtick that is expected. For viewers who are tuning in right now, you can either call us or WhatsApp us on the numbers that are flashing on your screen. The number that's flashing in the lower band is the number that you can use to also call us and ask us all your queries. All right, the first question of the day is from Rahul, who is writing in from Panchkula, Haryana. He's holding IDFC shares, bought 1,225 in quantity at 73 a piece. Wants to know whether he should continue to hold from a longer term perspective or exit now. Samir, a very good morning to you. What do you think is the outlook for IDFC? Should he continue to hold?
Good morning, Mahima. So fundamentally, yes, it is one of my top picks in the banking space, in the mid-cap banking space. So I would say continue to hold on to it. I think it has great long-term prospects. It's gone through a bit of pain because of the problems they've had with the microfinance and one loan asset on a toll asset. I think they've taken the provisions that are required, and now anything that will happen will be right backs. So as things go forward and the company continues to grow, the deposit base is growing at a very good pace. We believe the loans could comfortably grow at 20+%. Plus the NIMs will increase because they have high cost borrowings from the erstwhile IDFC, which will get replaced with deposits. So as that happens, NIMs increase, the profitability will also increase, the operating leverage will play out, given the fact that now the capex going in will be lower. So I say definitely hold on. But one thing I would like to add, Mahima, as a disclaimer before we start this show and we talk about individual stocks, that all bets go off the table if something escalates between the India-Pakistan wars. We are talking about purely fundamentals, but the fundamentals can change very, very fast if something were to go terribly wrong.
We'll have to react as and when that does come through. A lot of the experts that have been on this channel so far, and these are former army officers, have indicated that the next 48 hours are going to be crucial to watch, both from a military standpoint as well as from a diplomatic standpoint. And the Indian administration has very clearly stated repeatedly that if there is a de-escalation from the Pakistan side, then that will be matched by the Indian forces, and the opposite is also true. So we'll watch and give you those details as and when they come through. The next question coming through is from Zahid, who's asking about BHEL, which he's acquired at a price of 329. He's got nearly 6,000 shares is what he's pointed out. And Jatin, on the charts, how does it look? Would you hold on to this? Because he's undergoing quite a bit of a loss right now.
I think the investor should exit his positions because the rally that we saw in the month of March, April has hit the 40-week exponential moving average resistance, and thereafter we are witnessing a sharp decline. So there is weakness. It wasn't unable to cross above that 225 to 30 mark, which was the previous swing high and the resistance. So the structure still remains negative, or we can say weak. On the downside, we are expecting the stock to slip towards 192 to 186 odd level. So I think it's better to exit at this point of time from BHEL. So exit is the suggestion.
Okay, exit is a call on BHEL. We've got a first call of the day. Ramesh is calling us from Hyderabad. Good morning, Ramesh. How can we help you today?
Yeah, good morning. I have a Tejas network of quantity of 100.
Okay.
So I'm just looking for whether it's a time to average the stock or exit from the stock.
Ramesh, what's the holding period that you had in mind?
I can hold, but I wanted to average, looking for the average, but whether it is the time to enter or average at the time or exit from the stock.
Yeah, no, I am asking about the holding period because it will help me understand who to ask the question to. So, is this a fundamental?
I can hold for 2 to 3 years.
Okay. All right. So, Samir, based on the fundamentals, how do you see Tejas Network? If I remember correctly, the numbers were not particularly particularly good in the fourth quarter, and the share price has taken a bit of a beating post that. What do you make of the stock? Would you hold? Would you average?
So, Alex, we don't have coverage on this one, unfortunately. So, can you take a view?
I can take a technical view. So, but Jatin, on the technicals, slightly longer term, if you're saying 2 to 3 years, would you average at this price?
No, I would wait for the price to slip towards 550 odd levels. So technically, if I see a weekly time frame chart, because the investor has a holding period of 2 to 3 years, I think there is a decent amount of downside that I can see on the higher time frame charts. The weekly Bollinger Band is placed around 550. So that is a crucial long-term support around which we can consider averaging. Overall, the structure is still negative at this point of time. Rally fizzled out at the 20-week average. So that is again not a bullish sign for the stock in the very near short term. So don't average at current levels. 550 is the level around which we can consider averaging.
Keep in mind those levels for Tejas Network. Stock has been under a little bit of pressure. Now, we have promised to give you updates over the course of the day, and we've been bringing you live updates of the Operation Sindoor. Now, here's what has come through with regard to what took place last night. There was an attempt by Pakistan to attack several military bases in Jammu as well as in parts of Punjab, several other places as well. And that was countered and neutralized. And this is on account of the air defense system, and part of that, of course, is the Sudarshan Chakra, which is the S-400 air defense system. Shiv Arur joining us to tell you what this means and how this came into play. Shiv, what are you picking up?
What we saw yesterday captured on civilian mobile phones, flooding the internet after 8 p.m. yesterday, starting with airspace over Jammu, then Pathankot and various other places, was basically a symphony of India's integrated air defense system kicking into action and intercepting, a multiplicity of incoming Pakistani projectiles, including loitering munitions, attack drones, possibly some short-range missiles as well. This was a very, very complicated operational scenario where India's integrated air defense system, which consists of the S-400 principally, but many other systems, including the Akash, Indian Akash system, the Spider system from Israel, and a few others, all of it integrated using Indian know-how and technology, working incredibly in unison. These are images that people have never seen before, but at the heart of India's air defense shield, and perhaps our most formidable air defense weapon right now, is of course the S-400 that was ordered some years ago. It was finally delivered during the COVID pandemic. Yesterday was the first time we've seen the S-400 being used in anger. In anger is of course a phrase to describe being used in an operational live war-like scenario. Now, we don't know which of the videos that came out actually show S-400s intercepting, but we know somewhere out there in the darkness those missiles were swooping up to intercept incoming enemy projectiles to protect so many Indian cities in the north and the northwest. And the S-400 is an incredible piece of weaponry. It's an air defense system that is acknowledged by the acknowledged world's biggest arms producer, the United States, as a formidable air defense weapon. The presence of the S-400 on the ground gives even NATO countries and the United States pause, makes them change their plans, flight paths, things like that. The S-400 has a capacity to, engage incoming projectiles, many of them at the same time using its highly advanced tracking radar. It can conduct interceptions out to ranges of anywhere between 40 and 400 kilometers. A very intelligent group of systems and computers, live track in real time incoming targets and then intelligently assign the correct missile, the correct location plan to actually fire at and intercept and destroy in the air those incoming targets. So it's a mind-bogglingly complicated symphony of moving parts, electronics, sensors, and then finally the actual kinetic missile that goes up there and intercepts those things. It's like, shooting a bullet with a bullet, really. And that's really what happened yesterday. Think of it as, thousands of bullets or maybe hundreds of bullets coming at you and a group of systems creating a shield across the country, killing each one of those bullets individually.
Yeah, Shiv, thanks so much for that imagery, and it paints quite the picture. In fact, we don't have to paint a picture for you. The visuals that were being played out on screen will tell you exactly how this air defense system was activated overnight, and it's kept families in India safe. We spoke with retired Lieutenant General S.L. Narasimhan to try and explain how exactly India's air defense system works. And what he said is that it functions in a form of layers. Listen in.
There is no single system that does air defense. Air defense of a country is the responsibility of the Indian Air Force. But you need to understand that there is an integrated air defense grid that has been established. It will have, in layers, many weapon systems that will be deployed. Like, for example, at the forward edge, you will have the handheld ground-to-air missiles, manpairs as you call it, that will get deployed. Beyond that, some increased range weapons like Akash missiles, etc., will get deployed. And beyond that, you will find the S-400 variety of weapons that will get deployed, which has got a range of 400 kilometers, which can cover the entire Pakistan's depth. So it is a layered kind of air defense. It is a grid-patterned air defense, which will cover the entire area. And there is a system by which the Air Force monitors this. It's a electronic and AI-induced system, and that is very effective. And that is the reason you find none of the drones, none of the missiles that was launched by the Pakistanis have come into play. So this is the way that you need to understand the air defense. In addition to that, you will have the Air Force, which is already deployed. That will take off in case further, if they locate any of the Pakistan Air Force coming into play. So this is a graded system. It's a grid system, which will actually cover the entire area and the region. I'm simply put, I've not gone into the technical details. I've just given you a general gist of how it is done.
That's a perfect explanation as to how the entire system works and to get our viewers a perspective as to what's happening exactly. All right, we have our next caller, Chandrasekhar from Hyderabad is calling in. Chandrasekhar, a very good morning to you. I believe you have a question on BEL.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, go ahead. Ask your query.
Yes. Yes, the query regarding BEL is that I'm having 25,000 of profit in the BEL stock. Should I book profits right now, or should I wait some more time as there is war happening between India and Pakistan? So should I wait for some more time and book profits, or should I profit right now? Book profits right now.
Got it.
That's my query.
Okay, got your question, Chandrasekhar. I'll take this up with Samir quickly. Samir, with everything that's happening, of course, we're seeing Nifty Defense on the back. It's rising right now. But your sense as to what should one do with defense counters right now?
That makes no sense selling them away right away. I mean, look, we're not denying the fact that valuations across the board in the defense space are expensive. But given that we are where we are at this juncture, demand for products is going to continually increase. I'm not sure. It's difficult for me to say how much profit the government would allow these companies to make in a situation where you go for war. So that remains the only risk. But barring which, over time now, one thing is very clear. Companies that are in the defense space are going to see huge orders coming over the next many years, which will allow them to grow their sales, get the operating leverage. So valuations probably could stay higher for longer, even though we find them really high. So given he's bought it at a very attractive price, I say he can choose to hold on. If you ask me, would I buy at this level? Probably not. So I'd wait for corrections to buy, but BEL, given his value of purchase, hold on to it.
Okay. All right. So that's the view on the defense pack. Samir, thanks so much for that. We've got a view on the long term that is being sought by Ishan from New Delhi. about CG Power, which he says that he's acquired at a price of 20 rupees per share, and he's got a quantity of 6,000 shares. So it's quite a considerable gain that he's sitting on. If you've acquired at these levels, Samir, would you take money off the table?
Oh, definitely. Actually, I would have taken money off the table some time back. Look, this turnaround has been a great story after Tube Investments took them over. That is the Murugappa Group. But I think the valuations have moved far ahead of what the fundamentals justify. We don't deny the fact that the order flow has been decent. They've been able to turn their operations, become profitable, and all of those things. But at the kind of value you're paying for a company, and given the fact that now the utilizations have moved up, the same kind of growth cannot be expected. And if that is the case, you're not going to get the same kind of momentum in the stock price either. So I would take the profits, some of it at least, off the table right away. Look to invest in other companies where valuations and growth are more attractive. Maybe in the renewable energy space, given that it's part of the energy kind of thing he wants, he can look at something in the renewable energy space where the growth can be a multi-fold over the next maybe 4 or 5 years.
All right, so that's the view with regards to where CG Power stands. Our next caller, Teja, is calling in from Hyderabad. Teja, very good morning to you. How can we help you?
Hi, good morning. Thanks for taking my call again. I'm holding 3,000 shares of Electra at an average price of 977 rupees.
Okay.
My view is for very long term, like coming like 5 to 10 years from now. The factory is located in Hyderabad and it has ingeniously grown in Hyderabad. I've seen the factory from outside many times while I was going to my farm. I would want to buy another 2,000 shares or so in the coming fall. Can you please tell me the entry price for the next leg of?
Okay, got your point, Teja, and also congratulations because you've entered at the right levels and sitting on a profit of over 3 lakh odd rupees. Jatin, I'll quickly come to you in terms of what charts are indicating for Electra. What is the right time to enter?
See, I believe in the case of Electra, the crucial support now comes in at 990 to 970 odd levels. So if he wants to average or even add to his existing positions, then 970, 990 is the level around which he can consider doing averaging or even buying more.
All right, so that's the view on Electra Green. It's down about 19% or so over the last 3 months. Let's take another caller. We've got Mohan calling us from Warangal. Mohan, very good morning to you. How can we help you today?
Mr. Alex, very good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Really, I am very glad to talk to you.
My pleasure.
Okay, sir. Thank you. I possess already 200 shares of Anantaraj Limited.
Okay.
Now I want to add some more shares. So please tell me at what price should I enter?
Okay. Mohan, can you give me a little bit of clarity on this? When you bought it, what was the thinking? Did you buy it based on the fundamentals?
Yeah.
For the long term?
Long term, for 1 year.
For 1 year. Okay. Okay, so then from that perspective, let me go to Jatin on this one. Jatin, 605 is the buy price. The stock under a little bit of pressure today, down close to 5%. Would you deploy at this point? Would you hold on? What levels would you watch out for?
In the case of Anantaraj, 385 to 380 is the level around which we have the next cluster of support kicking in. So that's a decent amount of downside from current levels. So I think the investor needs to wait for the levels of 380 on the downside. Even at that support level, one needs to further revisit the stock, whether it's holding on to that support or no. So 380 as of now is a support cluster, but we need to check at that point of time whether that support is holding or not. So at this point of time, don't average 380. You should consider, but only if there is a trend reversal or we see a bullish pattern developing around that support levels.
Okay, so that's the way with regards to Anantaraj. Jatin, I believe we'll have to let you go at that. Thank you so much for joining us. With that, it's time for a very short break, but we'll be right back answering all your queries on the other side. So stay tuned.
तू ही तो है जिसकी सच्चाई वाली क्लैरिटी की वजह से मैं आज यहाँ हूँ।
गोल्ड प्लस सिल्वॉक्सी मिरर्स, ऐसी क्लैरिटी कि आपको सिर्फ सच नजर आए, चाहे कितने भी साल बीत जाएं।
इजी मेंटेनेंस है।
आपको मालूम है इसका फेस वॉश का खर्चा डबल है। तो देख मेरी आंखों के नीचे पहली बार तेरे को डार्क सर्कल है। एक मरे हुए मुर्गे में अगर जान डाल सकते हैं ना तो डिलिशियस बने।
Friendship came first or the idea came first?
Abhay, he was my friend. We also had.
I was.
Okay, this time. Actually, he landed in my office with this whole meat idea.
Actually, मैं बताया नहीं, मैंने शराब पी के इसको बोला था कि ये करना है।
So you have the conversation in his office. He doesn't take it too seriously.
इसको मैंने बुलाया घर आजा भाई, दोपहर को आया अपने महंगे वीसी वाले कपड़े पहन के। दरवाजे पे घंटी बजी, वो भैया ने इसको सोन पापड़ी के डब्बे में मटन पकड़ा दिया। इसके महंगे कपड़ों पे थोड़ा वो छलक गया। तो
Was it tough initially to get people to buy into the story?
I come from actually a Dania vegetarian family, and my parents, my dad said, मैं मतलब लोगों को क्या बोलूँगा?
The best thing is if a friendship survives a business pitch, I think that should be a true test of friendship.
हमने एक दूसरे को ये लिख के वादा किया था,
अगर बीवियाँ भी लड़ लें तो हम झगड़ा नहीं कर सकते।
मर जाएंगे पटनी घाटे।
Do you really know the company you invest in? What is the real picture behind presentations and claims?
Hi, welcome back. You're watching Ask Profit. It's time now to deviate a little bit from the questions for just a bit. We've got an earnings conversation to take you through, and we're talking about GHCL. Just to give you the snapshot of the financials very quickly before we get on the managing director, the revenues dropped by about 5% or thereabouts, and the net profit, because of an expansion in the EBITDA margins, has come in 20% higher at 150 crore rupees. We're joined by Mr. Aris Jalan, who is the managing director of the company. Sir, thanks so much for taking the time. Pleasure speaking with you, and thanks for speaking to NDTV Profit. Let me start by asking about that margin expansion that you've experienced in the quarter. What led to that? And that seemingly is what has led to the improvement on the profitability.
Good morning, Alex. As you rightly said, this year or this quarter was definitely an experience to us. And this, in spite of a global challenging market scenario and surplus material available in the market, we have been able to perform better, primarily because of our operational excellence and the innovation which we have been able to do in the plant. If you look at year as a whole also, Alex, you will see that overall our revenue has been dipped by 5%. But in spite of that, our EBITDA has grown to 966 crore, and that is also primarily because of the innovation and the operational excellence which we have been able to achieve.
Right. Hi, Mr. Jalan, this is Varsha this side. On the margins fronts though, where you see that margins going forward, what is the sustainable EBITDA margin that you're expecting for FY26, sir?
See, what's up? Good morning. What's up? If you look at 25-26, overall globally, the markets are going to be soft. The prices looks to be that either in the range bound or slightly maybe on the lower side. And based on the operational excellence which we have achieved, I think probably we will be in a range bound in the 25-26 also.
Because of the pricing pressure that you are talking about, for FY26, if you can give us what kind of growth are you expecting over FY25 when it comes to top line?
So, Varsha, there are two things which we have new project which we are coming in the stream in 25-26 in the later part of 25-26. One is the vacuum salt and another is the bromine project that will be coming in third and quarter of 25-26, and that will lead to our revenue growth in 25-26.
give us an outlook when it comes to soda ash pricing in the coming year. Any sense in terms of how the pricing trend could be?
See, what's up in 25, 26, definitely, as I said, overall the market is going to be soft. But in a medium to long term, we are bullish on this business. And if you look at the last many years of the history, the soda ash prices has always been remunerative to the business. And because of that only, we are going for a new project in the Gujarat. And this will be in next 3 years, we will be having that project. So that will also add to our revenue growth and the overall profitability of the company.
Mr. Jalan, can you take us through what the capex is for that project and in terms of capacity utilization overall, not just for soda ash, but I'm just wondering, considering that the demand picture, as you've pointed out, is a little soft right now, though you see it improving in the medium term, what is utilization right now and how do you see that moving in FY26?
See, Alex, our plant utilizations are more than 95%. And going forward also, the utilization will remain as it is. Only the price pressure may be there in 25, 26. In terms of the new project which is coming in only after 3 years. And I just wanted to highlight, Alex, here is that the new green, the solar investment which is coming in India, that is bringing a lot of opportunity for the soda ash. And you can see approximately around 100,000 tons in 26, 27, the new solar plant investments, which will bring soda ash demand growth. So that will definitely help this capacity get absorbed going forward.
Got it. And also on the bromine and salt business that you're going into, how is work going because you've acquired land, and how are you planning when it comes to tapping the customers in that space?
So, sir, right now what we are going is that we are going for 2 projects which are on the existing location. One is our soda ash plant where we are putting up this vacuum salt project, which is around 200,000 tons of the plant. And the bromine plant also in our existing salt feed what we have. This will get commissioned in September, October this year. And the new plant which we are planning to do in the Kutch area, that will take 3 to 4 years of time. And there is a good demand growth in bromine business domestically as well as the overseas. So we don't see any challenge in terms of the supply or the customer's demand point of view.
Mr. Jalan, just lastly, can you give us a sense on utilization of the cash that you have? Because as I understand, you have a reasonable amount of cash in your books. Do you see opportunities for inorganic expansion?
See, at this point of time, like I said, we have a capital commitment to the new Greenfield project, which is approximately around 4,000 crore, 4,200 crores. We have approximately around 1,100 crores cash into the balance sheet. And going forward, probably this cash will get utilized in our new Greenfield project in Kutch.
Understood. All right. Mr. Jalan, pleasure speaking with you as always. Thank you so much for taking the time and look forward to the next chat as well.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you.
All right. There you go. So that's interesting updates coming through and margin improvement, seeing the profitability improve for this company. And they've also spoken about the expansion plans going forward. Stock is down about 2.3% or thereabouts, but that's the texture of the market as well. Varsha, thanks so much for joining us on this conversation as well. Joining us on this side is Amar Deo Singh, who's a Senior Vice President Research at Angel One. Thanks so much for joining in. And Sameer, thanks so much for taking the time and waiting with us. The next question we're taking is on Asian Paints. It's in focus on account of numbers. We've got Ashwin from Guwahati who's asking about this. He's bought at levels of 2,410 rupees about 6 months back. What should he do right now? Sameer, as much as certain people who love this stock in the space have wanted to deny it, there is an undeniable impact of competition in this space. Margins are contracting, not just for Asian Paints, but for other players as well. How would you deal with a holding of Asian Paints though?
Okay, so rightfully so, Alex, you already said competition is definitely creating some problems with the margins, and that can be very clearly seen in the results. But I think there's not only competition, but there's also to do with the fact that we've seen a little bit of slowdown in consumption in India over the past year, be it rural or be it urban. And that too kind of has a negative impact. But the market and the opportunity for paints is again still very large. So we believe there's enough space for JSW and also Birla, that is Birla Opus as the Grasim group, to compete in the space. Yes, margins will probably not be as favorable as they were back in the day because competition is there and they want to eat into some market share. So that remains one big risk. But luckily, your caller has bought it not at the high price of 3,600, but at 2,400, so which is not too far from the current price. And if he has a slightly long-term view, I believe the market, as it keeps growing, and Asian Paints at the end of the day has a very strong brand name, can do well. The problem is the valuations post these new normals, at least not new normals, but the new lower margins, I would say, are still expensive. The stock is still trading at about 50 times 1 year forward. So, there's always a risk that the stock can see a bit more of a time period correction or even a stock price correction. But if he has a three-year view, I think there is some money to be made. Ideally, if it comes closer to 2000 levels, I would be a buyer in the stock. At this point, I would just say hold on.
That's the view with regards to Asian Paints. And I think apart from competition, as Sameer rightly mentioned, it's also the muted demand, which is not picking up at all. And plus, there's downtrading also playing its part in terms of the overall margin downtick as well. So that's with regards to where Asian Paints stands. Our next question. Can you find the question? I cannot find the question.
I got it. We've got Vishal Megamart that Angad wants to know about, and he's acquired this in the IPO, one lot. The stock is currently at 119 or thereabouts. For the long term, would you hold on to this? Oh, actually, no, he's speaking about 1 year. I'm not sure if you have enough data. Amar, would you say you can hold on to this?
Yeah, honestly, there's not much data, so really difficult to.
Okay, Sameer. Okay, fair point. I'll come to you very soon. Sorry to keep you waiting. Sameer, any view on Vishal Megamart?
Oh, yeah, unfortunately, I don't have. It's a new listing and we've not tracked it.
Okay, we'll reserve that question, Angad, and we'll get you a view as and when we can. JSW Energy is the next stock that we want to talk about, and this is a question from Shubhra. She's asking for a short-term outlook on the stock. She's bought at a price of 502. And she's wondering what to do. Should she hold on? She's incurring a bit of a loss. Amar, what's the view?
See, if you look at JSW Energy, we've seen the stock in a downtrend because the stock did manage to witness some pullback from 440 levels towards 576 and the last week of March, and then again it has been down to 450 levels. So clearly, it's trying to form a bottom, but technically, if you ask me, the long-term trend on the monthly charts that continues to be negative. But since it's around close to support levels, there could be a temporary bounce back. So ideally, one can hold on to the position. 480 is a first level to watch out for. If that is taken out on the higher side, then you can expect the stock to rally towards 530, 550 levels. Whereas on the downside, the stock has got strong support coming around the 440 level. So ideally, one can hold on to the position as of now.
On to the position is the view where technicals are concerned for JSW Energy. Our next question is from Gopinath, who wants a view on Vedanta. He's holding 80 shares at an average price of 466. He wants to know whether he can hold or sell. Amar, I'll quickly come to you again for this one. What's the view like where charts are concerned for Vedanta?
So if you look at Vedanta, what we are seeing here is that it's clearly in for consolidation. So there's a trend missing in the stock. The stock did rally and then again corrected currently around 400 odd levels. Seems to be forming some support around the 360, 370 zone, whereas on the upside, 420, 430 is a zone of resistance. So it's more of a trading play rather than any major trend that is visible technically on the charts.
Okay. All right. So that's a view on Vedanta. Murli is calling us from Bengaluru. Good morning, Murli. How can we help you today?
Very good morning. And only one little thing is convey our salutes to Indian Army on this occasion.
Yes. Thank you so much for that sentiment.
Yeah, they are fighting for us. Number one. Number two, I have bought Bharat Bijli, a transformer manufacturer.
Yes.
At a price 100 shares at a rate of 2,896.
Yes.
And it has come down from its peak price for about 30-40%. And all the transformers, whether it is transformer, Voltamp or Trill or this, all are doing well.
Yes.
With the order book and they are going for huge capacity. Can I add more Or switch out to some other transformer other than Bharat Bijli, like Sishlar or something.
Got it.
Which has
I got your
declared
question.
1:2 bonus. Which has declared a 1:2 bonus and doing extremely well.
I got your question, Murli, and thank you so much for calling us this morning. Samir, I'll come to you on this one. If you've got coverage on Bharat Bijli, your comments. If not, would you switch to something else?
So we do have view on Bharat Bijli, and we remain positive on the transformer space and the entire power space. We've been telling you for some time that there's a big demand increase expected to come in the power sector as Make in India and manufacturing capacities over a period of time go up. What you're also going to see is more utilization of electronics within the country. So power use in general is only going to keep rising, and companies that cater to that space like Bharat Bijli will also stand to benefit. Valuations for the stock are also relatively, I say, not expensive, but they're fair. So if you are a person who likes to have value on their side, I think this is one of the counters that value is there on your side. So there is some upside potential according to us. We think this is something that one can add on to, at least for your caller. He's bought it at a good price, but the price it's moved up, no doubt, but he can keep adding on if he likes. We think the stock would probably rally all the way to 3,700, 800 in 2 years' time.
Okay, so that's the view with regards to where Bharat Bijli stands. Our next question is from Satyan, who wants a view on Nucleus Software from a longer term perspective. His target is for the next 18 odd months. Samir, I'll again come to you on this one. What's the view like?
Sorry, again, I think last week also we asked a question on this one, but we don't have this.
I don't remember. Okay, all right. Then I'll come to Amar then. Amar, in terms of Nucleus Software, what are the charts indicating and what's the target and stop loss that you are currently penciling in?
Yeah, so if I look at Nucleus Software, the stock has corrected almost 50% from its all-time highs, close to 1,800. Currently, it's around 900 odd level, slightly lower than 900. So the major correction in the stock is over, and what we are seeing is that the intermediate term trend that is clearly indicating that the stock seems to have formed a bottom. So there could be some buying opportunity here, but the stock needs to sustain above the 1,050 mark for any meaningful upside rally. If that is taken out, then the stock could witness a sharp rally towards 1,250, 1,300 levels. Whereas on the downside, the recent low should act as very strong support. That's around 720, 750 zone. So that should act as a very strong zone. So if anyone is looking at accumulating the stock, any correction is a buying opportunity. With a stop loss below 725. On the upside, above 1,050, one can expect some sharp rally in the stock, maybe 15-20% on the upside.
Okay, so that's with regards to where Nucleus Software stands. Our next caller, Dilip, is calling in from Hyderabad. Dilip, a very good morning to you. How can we help you?
Good morning. Currently I'm holding Gravita India, 390 shares at the rate of 1,900. So I'm leaving the on this.
Okay, and okay, all right. Got your query, Dilip. I'll take this up with Samir. Samir, any view on Gravita India? I mean, the numbers were fairly in line with what the street was expecting. Overall, the lead segment was, good for them this particular quarter. What's the view like? Should we continue to hold?
Yeah, I mean, look, they're expanding also in the lead space, and they're also diversifying into various other spaces when it comes to rubber and in the global market. So, the recycling space, according to me, is something that has a huge opportunity of growth. The management has actually been very, very disciplined that they try to ensure that whatever capex they put in generates anywhere between 20 to 25% return on equity. I'm not even talking about return on capital, return on equity. So, how much of the equity goes in. So I think this business has good growth opportunity over the next many years. Their plans come up within a 1 year period. The problem sometimes they face is getting the permissions to set up these plants for the recycling. But I think they will get quicker and faster over a period of time. And what we will see is the growth in top line as well as operating leverage. So we remain positive. Valuations are a little rich, so hold on for you. If you would like to add some more, I would say closer to 1,400 would be a good price to add, but I would not sell the stock given the fact that the growth is very strong and the opportunity in this space is very strong.
View on the fundamentals. We've got a couple of questions that are coming through on Tata Motors. One is from BJ Kulkarni, who's got a long-term view, and he's got Tata Motors that he's bought at levels of 655, and the relatively shorter-term view, 3 to 6 months, is from Abhishek. He's bought 10,000 shares at a price of 697 rupees per share, and he's wondering at what level should he consider selling. First, on the fundamentals, Samir, I'll come to you. There are significant developments in the recent past with Tata Motors, and it's been a bit of a yo-yo or pendulum in terms of bad news and good. On the one hand, you had Trump tariffs that came through, JLR exports to the US were stopped, and then you had a resumption of those exports. You now have the UK-US deal that is being talked about and those positive developments. On the India front, you have the UK-India deal. The FTA, which would allow the company to bring in vehicles at a cheaper price. So things now finally moving in favor of JLR. Would you buy? Would you hold?
So we've been a buyer in JLR, I mean Tata Motors, for quite some time. We've been saying that the stock has seen a very sharp correction. Apart from the 2 points that you kind of more or less mentioned why we are positive, there's also a demerger coming in where the commercial vehicle business and the passenger vehicle business will be demerged. So that would lead to some amount of value unlocking. Sorry, and like you rightfully said, the opportunity for them which to open up a bigger market share or to gain some market share in India opens up because their cars will probably the fully made imported cars, the value will come down, which are very expensive, which means they will become much more competitive. So that's a great benefit. And in the US, with the US-UK trade agreement in place, they again could take maybe some little bit of market share from some of the other companies which are making it in the European Union where the trade agreements are fully not in place, and try to maybe get some market share in the interim. And valuations again are comfortable. I think company is profitable. We believe long-term growth is good, so I would definitely buy onto it.
Absolutely. So thanks so much for that view. I also want to complete the loop, so to speak, because we also got that shorter term question. 697, I think, was the buy price Abhishek had, and he's got 3 to 6 months. Amar, on the charts, would you hold on? It's more or less where the stock price is right now.
So if you look at Tata Motors definitely has witnessed a pullback from the recent lows, and it seems to be inching higher. But on the upside, technically, if you ask me, somewhere around 715, 730, that's a zone of resistance for the stock. Yeah, if that level is taken out, then the stock has a potential to rally towards the 750, 760 mark. That's where, again, it would run into a wall of resistance. So I would recommend that if you're looking at it from a short-term perspective, maybe the two levels to watch out for is 720, 725 on the upside. If that is taken out, hold on to your position. It could rally towards 750 levels where you could definitely look at making profits.
Regards to where Tata Motors stand. Our next caller, Suresh, is calling in from Hyderabad. Suresh, a very good morning to you. How can we help you?
Hi, very good morning. I'm holding Nalco in 350 shares here. I'm holding one at 152.
Okay.
So I'm in loss around 5%, 4.5%. But can I add more for a shorter term, like 3 to 6 months? And 3 to 6 months, can I add more?
Okay, got your query, Suresh. I'll take this up with Amar. Amar, what are the charts indicating for Nalco? Should we continue to hold for the next 3 to 6 months and also add more?
Yeah, I would say if you look at Nalco again, Nalco has witnessed a sharp correction from 260. Currently, it's around 150 odd levels. So in the metal space, I would say one can look at adding some position. But if you look at the intermediate term trend, that clearly is still weak. So what is likely to mean is that if there is selling pressure in the markets, we could witness the stock retesting its recent low of 135, 137. Ideally, 130, 140 would be a good level to enter, and only a rally above the 160, 165 would mean that the stock is likely to inch higher towards the 180, 185. So these are the levels to watch out for. But overall, if I look at the long-term perspective on the quarterly charts or on the yearly charts, that continues to remain strong and positive. However, in the intermediate term trend, we are seeing some sort of consolidation. So effectively, any pullback is a buying opportunity, and 130, 135 is a very strong support zone.
Okay, so those are the levels that you should keep in mind. 135 on the downside for Nalco proves to be a support. Morpin Lab is the name of the counter that we're talking about next. And Kenrick has got this question. He's bought at levels of 59.5, and he's not really specified his holding period. So I'm going to assume that he can hold for the long term. Samir, any view on the fundamentals?
Sorry again, don't track this one.
Yeah, I don't blame you. You've got quite a wide coverage in any case. Amar, on the technicals, what would you do if you bought Morpin Lab at a price of 59.5?
I would say if we look at the stock on the intermediate term trend, clearly is showing consolidation, and the levels are 42, 43 on the downside and 64, 65 on the upside. So you can say 40 and 65. That's a range for the stock, and the structure of the stock is that the stock has corrected by almost 50% from its recent highs, and the stock definitely has very strong support at the lower level. So ideally, that should not be breached. But for any meaningful rally, it needs to sustain over the 64, 65 levels. So adding at the current levels, I wouldn't recommend. But yes, on any significant correction towards 45, 46 or levels, maybe a 10-15% correction, there one can look at adding from a long-term perspective. Okay. But we'll have to... Yeah.
Okay, so that's a view on Morpin Lab. We've got a caller, Tarun from Delhi. Hi, Tarun. Good morning. How can we help you today?
Hi, I'm looking at investing in the banking sector. I'm looking at a fund of around 10 lakhs. Okay. So is this the right time to invest in the banking sector?
Okay, that's a good question, and that's quite a considerable sum of capital that you want to deploy. Samir, on the fundamentals, you've already talked about IDFC First. If I remember correctly, it's your top pick. What else would you buy?
So definitely would look to add some HDFC Bank as well. I think the valuations are not too expensive, and I believe given the size that they have, the growth, and I think that there you can make some decent money. I'd look at some. So I would actually look to break that into 4 parts. So, for the safety angle, you can have a HDFC Bank at 25% to 30%. Have IDFC First Bank, and from a PSU side, you can add a Bank of Baroda or a Canara Bank interchangeably. There you could put another 25 and 25%. And I would take a little bit of a risk and say go out and buy IndusInd Bank to some extent, maybe 50 to 20%, because I believe the worst is in the price. What we're going to see is tighter controls going forward, profitability coming back, and re-rating in the valuation. So that's the way I would go about breaking in the entire banking space. Yes, we are positive in the banking. We have been for some time. But if this is only, if you're only investing 10 lakhs, don't put all of it into banking. You could probably look at other sectors where growth is also there. But given your specific question, I'll say try to break it up in this format. That's the way I would. Disclaimer, this is how I would do. I have my investments as well.
Yeah. That makes sense. Suzlon, okay, my tongue is not working quickly enough. Suzlon is the name of the counter we're talking about, and B. Soumya is asking this question. She's writing in from Chennai. 70 rupees is the buy price. What's the view on the short-term perspective? Amar, on the charts?
So see, Suzlon seems to be in for consolidation post the sharp rally, and the stock has good support coming around the 45, 46 level. So ideally, one can hold on to the position, but any meaningful rally is only above 60, 62 levels.
Got it. All right, so that's a view on Suzlon. Amar as well as Samir, thanks so much for joining us this morning, and happy Friday to you, and happy weekend.
Thank you. Hope the weekend's not too noisy and painful, Alex.
I hope that is the case as well. And I'm sure everybody tuning in is going to hope the same thing. Well, that brings us to the end of this edition of Ask Profit from Mahima and myself and the team that put this show together. Thank you so much for watching. Do stay tuned. Up next is Know Your Company, and we've got lots more besides that over the course of the day. This is NDTV Profit.
That's huge. That is a biggie. It's out of it.
Gold Plus Clear Glass. पार हो या नियर, सब कुछ दिखे क्लियर.
इजी मेंटेनेंस है.
आपको मालूम है इसका फेस वॉश का खर्चा डबल है. तो देख मेरी आंखों के नीचे पहली बार तेरे को डार्क सर्कल है. एक मरे हुए मुर्गे में अगर जान डाल सकते हैं ना तो डिलिशियस बनेगा.
Friendship came first or the idea came first?
Abhay, he was my friend. We also had. Okay, this time. Actually, he landed in my office with this whole meat idea.
एक्चुअली इसने बताया नहीं, मैंने शराब पी के इसको बोला था कि ये करना है।
So you have the conversation in his office. He doesn't take it too seriously.
इसको मैंने बुलाया, घर आजा भाई, दोपहर को आया अपने महंगे वीसी वाले कपड़े पहन के। दरवाजे पे घंटी बजी, वो भैया ने इसको सोन पापड़ी के डब्बे में मटन पकड़ा दिया। इसके महंगे कपड़ों पे थोड़ा वो छलक गया। तो
Was it tough initially to get people to buy into the story?
You know, I come from actually a Danya vegetarian family and my parents, my dad's side, मैं मतलब लोगों को क्या बोलूँगा?
The best thing is if a friendship survives a business pitch, I think that should be a true test of friendship.
हमने एक दूसरे को ये लिख के वादा किया था,
अगर बीवियाँ भी लड़ लें तो हम झगड़ा नहीं कर सकते।
मर जाएंगे पटनी घाटे।
Do you really know the company you invest in? What is the real picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know Your Company, powered by NDTV Profit Research, shines a light on the biggest
Hello and welcome. Thanks for tuning in. This is KYC. We're going to today look at Wonderla Holidays. It's an interesting business from a perspective that it all depends, and there's footage playing. It's an interesting business because it's just one of two listed companies in the space, and it's a very niche business to actually be in, and therefore it's a business with strong moats. It also has no debt. And it's a heavy capex business with no debt, and that's the other piece that is very, very interesting about a business